everyone, this is Maki. In the movie Gundam Seed Freedom, many characters had impressive performances. This time, let's analyze the fighting skills of Cagalli as her. She was the leader of all. Unlike Kiro and Dasran, she showed high skills and talent on a different battlefield. Let's delve into the combat techniques Cagalli demonstrated in the arena of international negotiations. Please note that this discussion will contain many spoilers from the movie. Are you ready? As soon as you hit the subscribe button, start dodging to the right without hesitation. It's the way to victory. Cagalli's efforts are constantly going on behind the scenes of history. Though her contributions may not be flashy, it was her effective strategies that led to victory. First, let's focus on Mu love flavor. Pay attention to the scene after the Foundation Kingdom launches its attack on campus. Mu supports the allied Murosame with rocket attacks and quickly leaves the area. Later, when he rushes to the Archangel's aid, Mu appears alone. Why didn't Mu act with the allied Murosame? Why didn't he yell "follow me" like he did at the beginning of the battle, Arnaldo? Even in areas affected by the neutron jammer, it might be possible to transmit voice communication at close range. Alternatively, he could have used light signals to command "follow me." The Archangel is campus mothership, commanded by the woman Mu loves. Having more light forces would only be beneficial. There are two options in this scenario. The first is a calm analysis of the Allies' combat capabilities. The Archangel's defense is handled by highly skilled pilots, Mars and Harvard. If these two are in a situation where they could be shot down, it would be dangerous to bring along a pilot of average skill. In the battle at Eldo, we also see Murosame being defeated by the 105 dagger. Mu may have thought that acting alone would yield better results than fighting while protecting allies. The second possibility is that Mu sent his allies back to Orb before him to carry important information. Mu is part of the Orb military and trusted enough by Cagalli to be entrusted with the Akatsuki. It's very likely that Cagalli gave him instructions beforehand on what to do in case of an emergency. In the nuclear explosion scene, Mu's Murosame is acting alone. The allied Murosame must have retreated before Mu. Mu has previously faced a situation where all of his allies were killed. This was during the Moon War, which led to Mu being nicknamed the Hawk of Endymion. This was not a personal failure on Mu's part, but a mistake on the part of the Earth Alliance commanders. However, Mu deeply regrets the incident. He would not give up the lives of his fellow pilots. In addition, Mu has a unique ability inherited from the Love-Flavga family, a talent for sensing danger. He may have anticipated the situation on the battlefield and decided to have the allied Murosame retreat to Orb. Now Cagalli begins her actions. First, she shelters the surviving campus personnel in a secret underwater dock. After the scene where the amazing Zergok is being sheltered, Murosame is shown. We see injured soldiers being helped by their comrades and the sound of a warning buzzer. The soldiers who returned before Zergok were probably on Murosame. The preparation of this underwater facility is part of Cagalli's strategy. A little later, we see a facility called the Underwater Port Mobile Research Laboratory. Why did Cagalli prepare an underwater military facility? In Sea Destiny, Orb is attacked by Zaft forces. At that time, a mobile suit called Geogun appears. This mobile suit is based on the Gun underwater mobile suit. It is designed to move underground and attack underground facilities. The gel gun effectively demonstrated its capabilities by destroying the underground shelter where Opski figures were hiding. It's a strategically powerful mobile suit, but it has one major flaw. It cannot operate without prior data on the underground terrain. This means that Zaft had already obtained data on Orb's land. Although the Gelgoon was defeated by the Orb forces, its wreckage was probably thoroughly analyzed. It's a weapon that took the lives of key national figures, making it a critical subject for analysis. In addition, there is a powerful weapon called the Zeus Silhouette. This weapon was originally designed to attack key figures who had taken refuge in Orb's underground facilities. The exact details of its history are unknown, but the Zeus Silhouette is now part of Orb's arsenal and is operated by Akatsuki and Destiny Gundam. Although the details are unclear, it's possible that the Zeus Silhouette was used in the hijacking of the Freedom. In the scene where Strike Freedom is shot down by the Black Knight Squad, the wreckage of what appears to be the Zeus Silhouette can be seen in the background. Cagalli may have decided that it was dangerous to put important facilities underground and decided to hide them underwater. Underwater, the destructive power of weapons is reduced. Of course, metal bullets are slowed by water resistance. In mobile suit battles, tactics such as hitting the surface with rockets to cause explosions are used. The destructive power of beam weapons is also greatly reduced. By providing mobility, the current location of facilities is not easily detected by the enemy. Such strategies are necessary to protect the lives of citizens. At the beginning of the Seed story, Cagalli was angry and screamed at her father for secretly building the GATX series. However, after learning from many experiences, Cagalli decided to build secret facilities underwater. This is where Cagalli's formidable strategy begins. His opponents are the president of the Atlantic Federation of the Earth Alliance and the chairman of the Supreme Council of Plants. In addition, though details are unclear, two other figures appear who appear to be national leaders. Since they are attending the meeting with representatives of the Earth Alliance and Plant, they must be extremely important individuals. Cagalli's fight begins in front of people who could be called the world's top leaders. They hurl accusations at campus and insult each other. Cagalli could have mediated between them. Not just any mediation, but one based on clear evidence. Not long ago, the Zugok had returned to Orb. The Muasames have returned as well. Cagalli knows that the Foundation Kingdom betrayed the campus through a conspiracy. Near the end of the story, Kiro tells Orphy, "We have proof of your massacre." It's possible that Kiro was telling lies to provoke Orphy. However, Athran and Mayrin, who were acting as spies for the terminal, were operating Orb's top-secret Cavalier to gather information. There must be hard evidence. To repeat, Athran and the others returned to Orb before the meeting with the world leaders. Cagalli already knew about the Foundation Kingdom massacre. Why didn't Cagalli tell the world leaders? It would make sense to think that cooperating with other countries would yield better results than acting alone. After all, there might be individuals among them who were conspiring with the Foundation Kingdom to undermine the campus. And this suspicion was correct. The Zaft forces were in cooperation with the Foundation Kingdom. Chairman Lament, who participated in the conference call, is the leader of the entire plant, separate from military leader Jack Ganot. However, if they informed the front of the Foundation Kingdom's treachery, the information would also reach the rebels, giving them time to manipulate information and destroy evidence. During the siege era, Cagalli sometimes acted impulsively. There were scenes where she was angry with the Zaft forces and challenged them to a gunfight. In Siege Freedom, Cagalli remains calm and tries to assess the situation accurately, even when she has crucial information. Let's observe Cagalli's behavior during the video conference. She waves her hands dramatically and says we can't understand the situation based on reports alone. But remember, Athron and the intelligence agents had returned to Or before the meeting. Cagalli would have detailed information. Also, why did Cagalli wave her hands so dramatically? Let's look at the video conference with Lost at the beginning of the story. Cagalli and Lost are very close to each other. In the novel version, it's mentioned that Lost is a close friend of Cagalli. Even in the meeting with her close friend Lost, Cagalli behaves rationally throughout. She never appears at ease and remains serious throughout. The mature Cagalli is portrayed as someone who can adapt her behavior to the situation. Cagalli's exaggerated gestures may seem comical to some viewers. It's as if she's saying, "Underestimate me, please." Back to the meeting with the leaders. When someone says it was all because Kiro acted selfishly, Cagalli gets angry. She dramatically slams her desk and shouts in anger. If she knew that the Foundation Kingdom had betrayed them, there would be no need to get angry. She could just let them say what they want and act behind the scenes. So why did Cagalli show anger? According to director Mitsuo Fukuda, after the battle with the Foundation Kingdom, Orb will handle the post-war process as the victor. How did the meeting with the world leaders end? The president of the Earth Alliance says we will withdraw from the campus. The chairman of the Supreme Council of Front also says we will do the same, and they all leave the video conference unilaterally. Did you know this? Cagalli managed to get the Earth Alliance and Front to say we will not cooperate in an official meeting that was probably recorded. After the decisive battle with the Foundation Kingdom, Orb will monopolize the whites as the victor. Furthermore, they have achieved the result of full cooperation in the suppression of the Front rebels. After the video conference ends, Cagalli collapses on the desk, hiding her face. What could she have felt at that moment? The expressions of the surrounding executives suggest that they felt she had failed. But perhaps Cagalli was overwhelmed by the feeling of successfully steering a very difficult situation to a favorable outcome and psychological fatigue. Chairman Gilbert Duano evaluated Cagalli as one of the few politicians who can match me. Shen, whom Chairman Duano discovered showed extremely high skills as a mobile suit pilot. Cagalli was also someone whose talents were recognized by Chairman Duano. Isn't it possible that Cagalli's talents were on full display at this international gathering? By acting as a seemingly rash young woman, she may have led up to a better outcome in the end. At least the fact remains that Orb won the whites as the victorious nation. The battleship Millennium has been captured by campus members. Kira and his team begin their counterattack against the Foundation Kingdom. In this scene, mobile suits like Strike, Freedom, Destiny, and Impulse are brought aboard the Millennium. Let's watch closely. The Zugak uses Mirage Colloid stealth, but the Strike Freedom is just covered with a cross. Strike Freedom is a very important mobile suit. It's almost like a hero who played a significant role in ending the last war. In addition, Elika Simmons mentioned we were testing a new fusion reactor. The engines installed in Freedom Gundam and Justice Gundam are nuclear fission engines. The nuclear fusion engine couldn't be miniaturized, so it was only installed in battleships. If it's possible to put a nuclear fusion engine in a mobile suit, it would be an amazing technological breakthrough. To all, Strike Freedom and Destiny Gundam are state secrets on par with the Cavalier. That's not all. The Foundation also observed Strike Freedom up close during the Freedom hijacking incident. Simply covering it with the cross risks, revealing the fact that Strike Freedom is being prepared for use. Didn't Job have some other way to hide Strike Freedom? They did. Job has developed technology that is probably based on Mirage Colloid stealth. They used this technology to hide the battleship in the final battle. While it may be valuable equipment, it's not unreasonable to use it to hide a mobile suit vital to the nation. But Cagalli didn't. Why not? Probably to draw the Foundation's attention to the battleship Millennium. Just before this scene, Mulov Flavga began his mission with Akatsuki and the mobile container, equipped with the Zeus silhouette. Then they launch a counterattack against the giant beam cannon Requiem. While the Millennium is important, Akatsuki holds the lives of all of Earth's citizens. Cagalli focused the Foundation's attention on the Millennium to protect the people of Earth. In this scene, Mao Ramius talks to Alexei Konoe and says we will break through the enemy's main fleet and act as a decoy. This conversation refers to the Zugok's infiltration mission. However, the battleship Millennium was already acting as a decoy against the enemy. Immediately after the Internation Conference, Cagalli dispatches Mu and Akatsuki into space. The reason Mu is not present when Kiro and Shin wake up and talk with Mao and the others is because he is acting on secret orders from Cagalli. Using Mu and Akatsuki in advance as a force against the Foundation is indeed remarkable. Cagalli's simultaneous execution of the plan to use the battleship Millennium as a decoy increases the success rate of their operation. Also, let's look at the scene immediately after Orphe declares that Requiem will attack. Cagalli and the others panic, but a large-scale evacuation has already taken place. Orphe has a smile on his face, as if he is confident of victory, but his actions were already within Cagalli's prediction. Finally, let's take a look at Cagalli's combat skills, not only as a politician, but also as a pilot. This is the scene where she remotely controls the Infinite Justice type, too. According to director Mitsuo Fukuda, Athran and Cagalli had planned to switch the remote control the moment they spoke each other's names. In an interview with Animage magazine, it was mentioned that Athran instructed Cagalli to dodge to the right and counterattack as soon as the remote switched. Athran mentally thinks dodge left. She reads Athran's mind and attacks, but Cagalli's piloting allows her to dodge the attack. After Athran calls her name, Cagalli handles the situation calmly. But she's not just calm, Shura's movements are as fast as Athran's. Cagalli manages to handle Infinite Justice's piloting. This scene combines Athran's trust and Cagalli's piloting skills. She then counterattacks the Black Knight Squad Shiver. This counterattack is piloted by Cagalli. She throws a beam saber into the air and switches it to the opposite hand. She then loads the railgun struck to her hip. At this point, Cagalli is on Earth. She operates in accordance with the low-gravity environment of the Moon while on Earth. She steers under the condition that the gravity she feels and the actual gravity affecting the Infinite Justice Type 2 are different. She then fires the railgun repeatedly, destroying the enemy's right arm and rear thruster. It's unclear if the railgun she used had a rapid-fire function. When Kira and Shin use it, they fire single shots. Using the railgun to shoot may also demonstrate high skill. Interestingly, there is a similar fighting style used by a character in an earlier Gundam series. That character is Admiral A. In Shell's counterattack, he fought with the new Gundam. It's often interpreted that the new Gundam's beam rifle has a rapid-fire function. This is a setting that was added to the models later, and it didn't exist when the movie was made. Director Yoshiyuki Tomino actually wrote Express Admiral's high skill in the production notes. At the time of the movie's production, it wasn't stated that the new Gundam's beam rifle had a rapid-fire function, but it did have a power adjustment function. In the middle of the story, the new Gundam fires a powerful beam that the enemy mistakes for the cannon fire of a battleship. Tomino wanted to show Admiral's high level of skill by having him adjust the power of the beam rifle to a rapid fire output to snipe the enemy. The railgun that appeared in Seed Freedom is a prototype. It's designed to be thrown away and has the property of damaging the barrel when the bullets are fired. Cagalli may have adjusted the output of the railgun on the fly, changing it to a rapid-fire output in a short period of time. Then, like Amaro, she sniped at the enemy's weak points. In Seed Freedom, Kira Athran and Shin displayed remarkable abilities. But in this brief scene, Cagalli also demonstrated incredible skills comparable to those of Amaro A. She truly deserves to be called the heir of the Lion of Orb. Thank you for watching to the end. See you in the next episode.